My chosen one, I need you to stop for a moment and simply breathe. Draw in a deep, filling breath and let it out slowly. I know how exhausted you are. I know the emotional weight you have been carrying on your shoulders for so long. But what I am about to reveal to you right now cannot wait another single day, and it certainly cannot wait for another season. God is speaking, and He says, I am tired of trying to talk to you. Yes, you heard that correctly. I need you to listen with your spirit, and not just your physical ears, because this is not spoken out of anger. This is not because He hates you or is frustrated with your journey. This is absolutely not because He has abandoned you. It is exactly the opposite. He is saying this because He has been whispering to you, nudging your spirit gently, sending you warnings in the quiet moments, and placing a hedge of protection around you again and again. And you, my beautiful and exhausted soul, keep mistaking His divine voice for mere coincidence. Something very shocking, something profoundly shifting, is going to happen to you tonight before 11:59 p.m. Please understand me clearly. This message finding its way to your screen is not random. This is not just a motivational speech designed to make you feel good for a few minutes. This is not mere entertainment to pass the time. This is a direct, undeniable interruption from heaven. Sharing this message will multiply your favor and extend the blessing to those who desperately need it tonight. If your spirit is vibrating with the truth of this message, I need you to type, I receive, in the comments right now. Do not hesitate. Your comment is a spiritual declaration that legally binds this prophetic word to your destiny. Heaven is watching for your agreement. If you are listening to my voice right now, if your eyes are locked on this moment, it means you were specifically chosen and meant to hear this before it vanishes into the noise of the world. For months, and perhaps even for years, God has been trying to reach through the thick fog of your daily life in the most subtle, persistent ways. He spoke to you through those vivid dreams that you woke up from and immediately tried to ignore. He nudged you through those repeated numbers you kept seeing and brushed off as an accident. He warned you through sudden, sinking feelings in your stomach that told you something was completely off. He protected you through doors that closed unexpectedly and through people who walked away from your life without a single explanation. Through it all, the quiet voice of the Holy Spirit has been gently saying, pause. Do not go there. Make that call. Pray right now. Step back. But you kept scrolling through the noise. You kept delaying the hard decisions. You kept telling yourself, I will deal with this tomorrow. But heaven is saying to you right now, tomorrow is not promised in the way that you think it is. God is not tired of loving you. He is tired of being ignored by the one He loves so deeply. There is a massive difference. When He says, I am tired of trying to talk to you, it is the raw, emotional cry of a loving Father who has knocked on the door of your heart so many times that His knuckles are bruised with mercy. You asked for a sign. You begged for clarity with tears in your eyes. You prayed desperately for confirmation. And now, that confirmation is standing right in front of you. If this word has resonated in your spirit, and you sense that heaven is speaking directly to you, type Amen in the comments below. Let this be your public declaration, your agreement with what God is initiating, and your activation into the new season. Heaven is releasing a supernatural multiplier over your finances in this exact hour. Sowing a seed right now is a prophetic act that signals to the spirit realm that you are ready for the overflow. The link is in the description and pinned comment. Plant your seed today and watch God open the windows of heaven over your life. Hear me, chosen one, as this word settles into your spirit. Heaven is presenting an urgent invitation to partner with a divine mission to save souls. Sowing a seed today is an act of spiritual obedience that bridges the gap between your current struggle and your impending miracle. Your financial gift is not merely a transaction, it is a living promise that will unlock divine alignment over your destiny. I urge you to make a donation or simply bless this holy work by buying a coffee. Go to the link in the description or the pinned comment right now and let your seed become the absolute catalyst for your spiritual activation. Archangel Michael stands near you right now, and his presence is not meant to bring fear, but to bring absolute urgency. His assignment is not to frighten your spirit, it is to guard your destiny. There is a massive spiritual movement happening around your life right now that you cannot see with your physical eyes, and tonight marks a major turning point. You have been walking on the razor-thin edge of a decision that will either shift your life upward into divine acceleration or delay your promised blessing for years to come. Do not walk into this heavy spiritual warfare unprotected. Subscribing to this channel right now ensures you are staying in prophetic alignment for the days ahead. Click subscribe immediately and lock your spirit into this divine frequency so you do not miss the next instruction. There has been intense unseen warfare over your calling. The enemy knows the potential locked inside of you, even if you still doubt it yourself. There has been heavy jealousy surrounding your personal growth. There has been subtle, toxic manipulation hiding near your peace. And the truth is, you sensed it all along. You felt totally drained around certain people, like your energy was simply being siphoned away. Instead of trusting that feeling, you questioned your own intuition. You assumed you were just being too sensitive. You ignored the glaring red flags because your gentle heart did not want to cause any conflict. Liking this video is an act of faith that accelerates the divine breakthrough over your life. Think of it like a lighthouse cutting through a massive dark storm. The lighthouse does not apologize for shining brightly. It does not lower its light to make the storm feel more comfortable. It shines to expose the hidden rocks so the ship does not crash. That is what your intuition is. It is God's lighthouse inside your soul. But you have been covering up the light, trying to navigate the storm in the dark just to keep other people happy. Tonight, something must shift. Before 11:59 p.m., there will be a moment that makes you pause, look around, and finally say, "Now I understand." It may be very subtle, or it may be incredibly dramatic, but I promise you it will be clear. Before you hear another word, click the like button. This is not about an algorithm. It is a spiritual marker that multiplies the blessing over your life and pushes back the shadows trying to hide this word from others. Sharing this video with someone you love extends this divine protection to them. When this moment happens, you must remember this truth. It is not chaos attempting to destroy your life. It is absolute clarity stepping in to save it. God is actively separating you from everything and everyone that cannot go where you are going. You cannot carry a heavy backpack full of rocks to the top of a mountain and expect to have an easy climb. You have been carrying the opinions, the drama, and the toxic habits of your past for way too long. Subscribing to this channel is an act of obedience that secures your alignment with this new season. Because you are stepping into a season of intense spiritual elevation, the veil is being lifted and you are being called higher. I passionately invite you to step fully into your breakthrough by joining Archangel Michael's inner circle. By becoming a member of our Ko-fi community, you will gain access to hidden insights and exclusive prophetic coverings that cannot be shared with the general public. This is about divine timing and securing your spiritual armor against the unseen warfare. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment to enter the inner circle and claim the profound clarity reserved only for the deeply obedient. The Holy Spirit is prompting some of you to partner with this prophetic word right now. By buying a coffee through the link below, you are not just supporting a channel, you are actively placing a spiritual marker on this moment of revelation. Let your giving become the catalyst for your next major miracle. You see, God tried to warn you with a gentle whisper. He tried to redirect your footsteps softly. He tried to correct your path in private, but you resisted those quiet whispers. You held on to what was hurting you because it felt familiar. So now heaven must speak much louder. Please hear my heart when I say this. This sudden shock is not about punishment. This is entirely about protection. Archangel Michael has been directly assigned to shield you from something you do not currently have the capacity to fully understand. God is allowing a moment of disruption right now so that your entire life does not completely collapse later on. Think of a master builder inspecting a house. If he sees that the foundation is cracked, he does not just paint over the walls to make it look pretty. He breaks the floor open to fix the foundation because he knows a storm is coming. The breaking feels violent, but it is the only thing that will keep the house standing. You have been praying for elevation. You have been crying out in the middle of the night for a breakthrough. You have been begging God for new beginnings. But you must understand the spiritual law of growth. Elevation always requires separation. Heaven is watching your response in this exact moment. If you are finally done with the delay and ready for the divine acceleration, type "I am ready" below. Let your keystrokes be the literal sound of chains breaking off your life and your future. Breakthrough demands that the hidden things be fully exposed in the light. New beginnings are completely impossible without strict endings. Sometimes the most deeply loving thing God can ever do for you is to step in and forcefully remove what you absolutely refuse to release. If this message confirms what your spirit is sensing, declare your agreement in the comments below. I accept the upgrade. Let the act of writing these words be your public declaration, sealing this word and serving as an anchor of faith that activates the breakthrough God is initiating over your life right now. You are standing right now at a profound spiritual crossroad. One path leads back into the familiar distraction, the endless delay, and the crushing emotional exhaustion you know so well. The other path leads forward into discipline, true alignment, and divine acceleration. God is tired of repeating himself to you, not because he is done with you, but because he knows you are finally ready for more. There is something deep inside your chest that already knows every single word of this message is true. That uneasy, fluttering feeling in your heart right now, that is not anxiety. That is your spirit awakening from a long, deep sleep. To truly walk in this new dimension of clarity, you need a daily spiritual shield. I urgently invite you to join our Ko-fi community. This inner circle is where the deepest prophetic coverings are shared, protecting your destiny from the enemy's delay. Click the link in the description to secure your place among the faithful. You have been playing small to make others comfortable. You have been tolerating far less than you deserve. You have been shrinking your high standards just to fit into spaces you have outgrown. And heaven is completely done watching you settle. Tonight is entirely about exposure. This is not happening to shame you or make you feel guilty. It is happening to free you from the invisible chains you have been wearing. The protective energy surrounding you right now is strong, decisive, and unwavering. Heaven does not hesitate, and this is your exact moment to stop hesitating too. The shock that is coming is not meant to break you down. It is meant to wake you up. Listen to me very closely, my dear one, because here is the part that makes this entire situation so incredibly urgent. This beautiful, bright window of clarity that heaven is opening for you right now will not stay open for long. In the spiritual realm, windows of opportunity, moments of deep revelation, and seasons of grace open for a specific time, and then the season shifts. You are going to have a brief, highly powerful moment very soon. It might be a sudden conversation that changes everything you thought you knew. It might be a deep, overwhelming realization while you are simply driving your car or doing the dishes. It might be a vivid, unforgettable dream, or a sudden, piercing truth that hits your heart out of nowhere. How you respond to that exact fleeting moment will determine the entire course of the next 6 months of your life. Hit the like button immediately to seal your frequency with this prophetic broadcast. Your like is a physical click that creates a massive spiritual echo, commanding the breakthrough to manifest in your life without delay. Do it now as an act of faith. God is not shouting right now to scare you. Please take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and completely let go of that fear. He is raising his voice because the loud noise of the world, the heavy opinions of others, and your own internal swirling doubts have gotten so incredibly loud that he had to speak louder just so you could finally hear him. Before this night comes to an end, you will completely understand why this specific message found you at this exact hour. Do not dismiss it as a random algorithm. Do not postpone your quiet time and reflection. Do not silence that deep inner knowing that is currently vibrating in your chest. This is your personal divine interruption. Imagine standing in front of a heavy closed door in a dark, cold hallway. For years, you have been knocking on that door, crying, hoping it would open and finally bring you peace. But God has been standing right behind you the entire time, pointing to a brightly lit, wide-open door, gently asking you to simply turn around. The window of clarity that is opening tonight is your exact moment to finally turn around. It is the moment you stop banging your bruised hands on doors that were locked for your own absolute protection. Press the like button as a physical step of faith, accelerating the divine breakthrough God is lining up for you. If you are still here, sitting with me, and listening to these words, it means your spirit already deeply recognizes that this is not a coincidence. The clock is moving forward. Heaven is watching your heart with pure love. Divine protection is fully active around you. Prepare your heart. Beloved soul, something massive shifted in the unseen realm the exact moment you chose to keep listening to this message. That was not an accident. That was pure spiritual alignment taking root. You could have easily scrolled away. You could have dismissed this as an exaggeration or just another internet video passing through your feed. But instead, you stayed. You paused your busy life. And that one simple, beautiful decision tells heaven that you are finally ready to hear what comes next. The angels are recording your faith today. Type Amen in the comments as a public seal on this private revelation. By declaring your agreement, you are telling the unseen realm that you fully accept the divine upgrade God is handing you right now. God is not tired because he is impatient with your progress. He is tired because he has lovingly repeated the exact same instruction to you in so many different forms, through so many different seasons, and you keep asking him for a new answer when the old answer still stands firmly in place. You have been emotionally exhausted because you are fighting against the gentle current of grace. Swimming upstream takes all your physical and mental strength, but God is asking you to simply turn around and let the river of his favor carry you forward. When the Holy Spirit prompts you to move, the longer you wait, the heavier your spirit becomes. That heavy feeling in your shoulders, the constant tension in your neck, the sudden waves of unexplained sadness, these are all physical manifestations of a spiritual delay. Think about it very carefully right now. What is the one specific area of your life where you keep saying to yourself, I know I need to change this. I know I need to walk away. I know I need to set a firm boundary, but you constantly delay the action? You know exactly what I am talking about. The very thing that just popped into your mind is exactly where this prophetic message is pointing directly. Tonight is not a random evening on the calendar. This is a vital spiritual checkpoint that must be crossed before 11:59 p.m. There is a firm line being drawn in the unseen realm right now. On one side of that line is the continued confusion, the emotional exhaustion, and the familiar pain you have grown so used to. On the other side of that line is a crystal clear clarity that may initially feel a little uncomfortable, but I promise you it will ultimately set you completely free. Make the choice to subscribe right now. It is an act of obedience that locks in your alignment with the new season God is opening. Heaven is establishing a continuous flow of revelation for you, but you must stay connected to the source. Subscribing today is your physical agreement to remain in prophetic alignment as this new season unfolds. Click subscribe to keep your spiritual armor intact. God has been gently but firmly nudging you about a very specific decision for a long time. You have felt this deep, persistent pull during the quiet, lonely nights when you could not sleep and your mind was racing. You have sensed it intensely during moments of deep frustration when you felt like you were just running in circles and getting nowhere. You have even heard it clearly in your own thoughts when everything around you was completely silent. Yet you kept negotiating with God, and more importantly, you kept negotiating with yourself. You told yourself that you just needed a little more time, a little more solid proof, a little more comfort and reassurance before you made a real move. But heaven is speaking to you directly tonight, looking you right in the eyes, saying that the proof has already been generously given. The reassurance has already been shown to you time and time again. Your delay is no longer acting as a safe shield of protection. Your delay has slowly morphed into disobedience. Archangel Michael stands beside you not just as a protector, but as a fierce, unwavering warrior of absolute truth. His powerful presence near you right now is entirely about cutting through the thick, heavy illusions that have been blinding you. There has been a thick fog surrounding your judgment. There has been deep emotional attachment heavily clouding your divine wisdom. You have found a strange, toxic comfort in what is familiar, even though what is familiar is slowly draining the very life and light out of your beautiful soul. God is demanding a physical action to lock in this spiritual truth. Do not let this moment pass without downloading the guided ebook I have prepared for this exact transition. It is the roadmap to your breakthrough. The link is in the description. Step fully into your spiritual activation today. Think of it like a majestic bird choosing to stay inside a tiny cage with the door wide open, simply because the bars of the cage are all it has ever known. You are that beautiful bird, and the endless open sky is calling your name. Tonight, something powerful is going to pierce straight through that fog. It might be a simple passing conversation that accidentally reveals someone's true, hidden intention toward you. It might be a sudden, quiet realization about your own behaviors and exactly what you have been tolerating. It might be an unexpected cancellation, a sudden delay, or a massive shift in plans that forces you to look directly at the very thing you have been trying so hard to avoid. When this exposure happens, I need you to promise me something. Do not panic. Do not react with your raw, immediate emotions. Instead, simply step back and observe. Use your spiritual discernment. Pray for deep peace, because this shocking moment is the exact answer you have been desperately asking for. You once prayed with tears streaming down your face, "God, please remove anything and anyone that is not from you." You must be very careful what you pray for, my chosen one, because when God begins the process of removal, it rarely feels soft and gentle. It often feels shocking. It feels highly disruptive. It feels completely sudden. But you must understand that this disruption is simply His mercy in motion. Do not let the enemy silence your voice today. Type "I receive" in the comments to physically anchor this spiritual truth into your current reality. Your public faith is the key that unlocks the private miracle heaven has stored up for you. The reason this separation must happen before 11:59 p.m. is deeply symbolic. It represents the permanent closing of a painful, repetitive cycle. Midnight is never just a time on the clock. Midnight is a major spiritual transition. It is the exact moment when the old day dies and the new day is fully born. And you absolutely cannot step into a brand new glorious day while you are still tightly clinging to the heavy, rusting chains of yesterday. Think about the Israelites standing at the very edge of the Red Sea. They had to leave Egypt completely behind before the waters parted. If they had stayed on the sandy shores, crying and negotiating with their painful past, they would have never seen the massive miracle of the divided sea. You are standing at your own Red Sea tonight. Heaven is purposefully accelerating the very thing you have been postponing. There is also something else you must deeply understand about the spiritual warfare surrounding you. The enemy of your divine purpose does not always use loud destruction to stop you. Instead, the enemy thrives entirely on quiet delay. Please hear that again and let it sink into your spirit. The enemy uses delay because if you are delayed long enough, you start doubting your own incredible worth. You start shrinking your massive God-given vision. You start accepting mere breadcrumbs when a massive banquet has been prepared for you. And that is exactly what Archangel Michael has been fiercely guarding you against. Sharing this video right now is a profound act of spiritual warfare. By extending this divine warning to others, you are actively multiplying your own favor and breaking the cycle of isolation. Click share and let God use you as a vessel of truth today. You were called for so much more than mere survival. You were not created just to pay bills, endure emotional pain, and simply exist. You are called for massive generational impact, but true impact requires deep, bold courage, and courage requires a specific moment where your familiar comfort zone is completely disrupted. This is that moment. This is your time to step into the water and watch it part. If you are ready to let go of the delay, type Amen in the comments. Let your typing be a physical act of spiritual release and agreement with heaven. Faithful one, what you are about to understand right now will take all the strange, confusing puzzle pieces of your recent struggles and finally connect them into one beautiful, undeniable truth. As the hours move closer to midnight, I need you to pay very close attention to your own emotions. Do not numb yourself. Do not distract yourself with mindless scrolling or busy work. If you feel deeply restless right now, that is not anxiety. That is divine revelation approaching your doorstep. If you feel an uneasy fluttering in your stomach, that is the raw truth knocking loudly on the door of your heart. If you suddenly feel incredibly clear-minded out of nowhere, that is absolute confirmation arriving straight from heaven. But I must warn you about what most people will do in this exact situation. Most people will feel these intense spiritual shifts and they will choose to ignore the sign just one more time. They will try to rationalize it away. They will tell themselves it is just a strange coincidence or simply the result of a long, stressful day. And then, months later, they will look back with tears in their eyes and say to themselves, I knew it. I felt it in my gut, but I did not listen. Please, my beloved friend, do not let that painful regret be your story. When the shocking moment of ultimate clarity arrives tonight, you must respond with deep spiritual maturity, not a sudden emotional impulse. I need you to listen much more than you speak. Breathe deeply into your lungs before you react. Ask God softly, what are you showing me right now? Instead of crying out, why is this happening to me? Because I promise you, this is not happening to you. This is happening entirely for you. By liking this video, you are making an act of faith that triggers your divine breakthrough and pushes back the shadows of delay. Your breakthrough is deeply connected to your obedience in this very minute. By sowing a seed today, you are building an altar of faith that the enemy cannot destroy. Check the pinned comment or the description to give and align your earthly resources with heaven's perfect divine timing. The reason God says, I am tired of trying to talk to you, is because He has already shown you the painfully repetitive pattern in your life, but you simply did not want to see it. It is like looking at a stunning painting, but purposefully covering your eyes because you are afraid the colors will be too bright. The sudden delays, the strange, heavy tension in certain relationships, the extreme mood shifts you could not explain, the doors that slammed shut and made absolutely no sense to you at the time. They were not random, chaotic disruptions. They were carefully orchestrated, divine signals designed to get your attention. There has been a deeply repeating cycle operating in your life for far too long. It is the exhausting cycle of receiving a quiet warning, hesitating because of fear, suffering the painful consequence, spending months in emotional recovery, and then facing the exact same warning all over again. It is like walking in a massive circle in a dark forest, convincing yourself you are making progress just because your feet are moving. But heaven does not ever operate in confusion. When a painful situation repeats itself in your life, it is simply because a vital spiritual lesson remains unlearned. And tonight, this very moment, is entirely about completely breaking that exhausting repetition forever. Archangel Michael has not only been fiercely guarding you from external physical harm, but he has been standing firmly at the very edge of your daily decisions. He has been urging you forward into the light when your own dark fears try to pull you back into the shadows. But there is only so long that divine protection can delay the very things you absolutely refuse to confront. Eventually, the bandage has to be pulled off so the deep wound can finally experience the fresh air and heal. You cannot keep putting a bandage over a wound that needs a surgeon's hands. And God is the ultimate healer. He is stepping in to perform the spiritual surgery you have been avoiding. Hitting that subscribe button is more than a click. It is an act of obedience that secures your alignment with your new season of abundance. The shocking event that is rapidly approaching before 11:59 p.m. is absolutely not meant to scare your gentle heart. It is meant to beautifully and completely finalize what has been lingering unresolved in your spirit for far too long. You already know the exact area of your life this concerns. You do not need to search your mind for it. It is that quiet, heavy discomfort you feel deep in your chest every single time you think about a specific person, a draining habit, a toxic environment, or a painful compromise you have been making. You powerfully convinced yourself that it was manageable. You looked in the mirror and told yourself you were strong enough to handle the constant emotional drain. But deep inside your weary soul, you knew it was slowly and quietly pulling you out of your divine alignment. God tried to whisper to you. He sent you obvious signs in the most beautifully subtle ways. He sent a specific scripture that stood out to you unexpectedly and brought tears to your eyes. He led you to a sermon or a message that felt entirely too personal, as if the speaker was looking right into your living room. He allowed a vivid dream to temporarily disturb your peace so you would wake up and pay attention. He even used a friend who casually said a passing sentence that hit your heart much deeper than they ever realized. My dear one, those were not accidents. Those were not mere coincidences. They were loving, personal invitations from the Creator of the universe. When divine invitations are repeatedly ignored, divine interventions must quickly follow. And this is exactly where the intense urgency of this moment becomes incredibly real. Something powerful will be revealed to you tonight that finally, permanently confirms what you have suspected for a very long time. It may be hidden information that suddenly surfaces out of nowhere. It may be a sharp, defining truth spoken by someone else that simply cannot be taken back. It may be a deep emotional reaction from someone close to you that fully exposes what they have been hiding beneath the surface. When this happens, it will feel exactly like a blinding spotlight being turned on in a pitch-black room. The light might hurt your eyes for a brief second, but suddenly you will be able to see all the dirt, all the mess, and all the hidden obstacles that have been tripping you up in the dark. Do not close your eyes. Do not resist the light. The reason God's voice sounds so incredibly firm right now is because your beautiful destiny simply cannot afford another day of delay. You have prayed passionately for divine acceleration. You have asked for massive, wide-open doors. You have begged heaven for deep expansion in your life, your finances, and your purpose. But you must understand this spiritual law. Acceleration always requires perfect alignment. A car cannot drive at a high speed if the wheels are completely out of alignment. It will shake, it will drift, and eventually, it will crash. Alignment, my friend, demands absolute honesty with yourself. There has been a massive, silent internal conflict raging within your soul. One side of your heart deeply desires incredible growth, strong discipline, and a radiant, fulfilling purpose. But the other side of your heart desperately clings to comfortable misery, familiar pain, and a false sense of emotional security. This internal tug-of-war has been violently draining your physical energy. That is exactly why you have felt so incredibly tired recently, even on the days when you have not done much physically. You are experiencing severe spiritual exhaustion from constantly resisting the truth that your soul already knows. Archangel Michael's powerful presence near you right now signifies immense strength. It is the strength to permanently cut toxic ties when it becomes absolutely necessary. It is the quiet, dignified strength to walk away from tables where respect is no longer being served. It is the profound strength to consciously choose a long-term generational blessing over a short-term, fleeting comfort. Tonight, that exact divine strength is going to be fully activated deep within your spirit. This entire moment is not about you losing something precious. It is entirely about you gaining your ultimate clarity. When midnight rapidly approaches, I want you to pay very close attention to what shifts inside your physical body and your spirit. You may suddenly feel an overwhelming warm wave of peace about a major decision you have been terrified to make for months. You may feel a sudden rising boldness in your throat to finally speak the heavy words you have been suppressing just to keep the peace. You may feel a massive physical release from the heavy, choking anxiety you have carried on your chest for years. That beautiful, deep release is the undeniable confirmation that heaven has officially stepped in to take the heavy burden off your shoulders. God is not abandoning you in the storm. He is aggressively advancing you out of it. But please remember this truth. Massive spiritual advancement almost always feels highly uncomfortable before it feels truly victorious. Growth hurts. A seed must completely break open in the dark, dirty soil before it can ever push through the earth and find the sunlight. You are the seed, and the breaking you feel is simply the beautiful beginning of your blooming. Declare your readiness by typing Amen right now. Let this simple word be the bridge between your waiting season and your ultimate breakthrough. As the old chains shatter and the new dawn breaks, there is a tool specifically prepared for this exact moment. For those whose spirits feel deeply called to amplify this holy work and accelerate their own transformation, I invite you to download our guided ebook. While this is an optional step, it is a highly powerful spiritual anchor designed to walk you step by step through this exact divine transition. Find the link in the description or the pinned comment to secure this guided ebook, and let its sacred pages cement the absolute clarity heaven is downloading into your mind right now. Chosen vessel, I need you to lean in very closely right now. I need you to open your heart completely, because what unfolds next in this message is not just about tonight. It is entirely about the permanent pattern of your future. The intense urgency you feel in your spirit right now is absolutely not emotional pressure. It is perfect, divine timing. There are rare, beautiful moments in life when heaven deliberately compresses months and months of slow revelation into a single, powerful evening. This is exactly one of those defining moments. For far too long, you have been standing in a heavily clouded, confusing gray area. You have not been fully committed to the bright path God showed you, but you have also not been fully willing to walk away from the familiar pain holding you back. You have been standing right in the doorway, shivering from the cold outside, but refusing to step fully into the warmth of the house. That massive gray area has cost you so much of your precious peace. It has deeply blurred your spiritual discernment. It has made you constantly second-guess your own God-given instincts. And right now, God is speaking with pure, protective authority, and He is saying, clearly, no more. The shocking event that is arriving before 11:59 p.m. is not some random, chaotic disruption sent to ruin your day. It is a firm, beautiful line of divine separation. Something in your life is about to become completely undeniable. Something you have deeply questioned in your quiet moments will be officially confirmed. Something you hoped would magically change on its own is going to show you, once and for all, that it never will. And when this raw truth finally lands, you are going to feel two highly competing emotions rise up fiercely within your chest. The first emotion will be a massive wave of relief. The second emotion will be a heavy wave of grief. You will feel immense relief because you finally, truly see the hidden truth. But you will also feel real grief because the truth sometimes means you have to permanently let go of someone or something you loved. Please, I beg you, do not confuse this completely natural grief with the feeling of regret. You are absolutely not losing your divine destiny. You are simply shedding the heavy, toxic weight that was never, ever meant to carry your destiny in the first place. For a very long time, you have been desperately trying to hold everything and everyone together. You have tried to maintain a fake, fragile peace at the severe expense of your own brutal honesty. You have tried to completely avoid all conflict at the massive expense of your own clarity. But true clarity is coming for you right now, and it is absolutely not going to politely ask for your permission to enter. Take a moment to like this video. Consider it an act of faith that puts speed to the divine breakthrough hanging over your life. Archangel Michael's protective energy in this exact moment is incredibly decisive. There is a massive spiritual sword of discernment actively cutting through the heavy illusions surrounding your life. I need you to understand that this powerful sword is not swinging against you. It is swinging entirely for you. It is rapidly cutting away the dark, sticky webs of manipulation, the deep self-deception, the fear-based attachments, and the completely misplaced loyalty you have given to the wrong people. You may suddenly realize with absolute clarity that someone very close to you has not been genuinely aligned with your growth. You may realize they actually secretly prefer you when you are broken and small. Or you may realize that you, yourself, have been the one actively resisting the beautiful changes God is trying to bring. Either way, this massive exposure is your ultimate liberation. The profound reason this massive shift must fully happen before midnight is because God is officially closing a very painful chapter in the thick book of your life. Midnight represents a total, irreversible transition from one state of being to another. You simply cannot carry your heavy, unresolved compromises into a brand new, glorious season of divine acceleration. You have cried out for elevation, but true elevation requires much lighter baggage. A hot air balloon cannot rise into the sky if it is still tied tightly to heavy sandbags on the ground. God is cutting the ropes to your sandbags tonight. This is not a harsh punishment for ignoring his quiet whispers. This is his aggressive, fiercely loving mercy that absolutely refuses to let you stay stuck in the mud. There has been an invisible, suffocating ceiling placed directly over your progress. You have felt it pressing down on you. You have worked incredibly hard. You have prayed with all your might, and you have tried everything you could think of to break through. Yet something always seemed to aggressively hold you down at a certain frustrating level. That invisible ceiling is directly connected to the very thing that is being fully exposed tonight. Once this hidden block is revealed to the light, the thick glass ceiling will instantly shatter. But you must respond correctly when it happens. When the raw truth appears, you must powerfully resist the sudden urge to react with highly charged emotions. The enemy would love absolutely nothing more than to quickly turn your new clarity into pure chaos. Subscribe today as a faithful act of obedience, securing your absolute alignment with the glorious new season awaiting you. When this moment of truth arrives, you must force yourself to stay totally calm. Step back and simply observe the situation. Let your quiet spirit process the heavy information before your mouth ever speaks a single word. Ask God for deep divine wisdom in your very next step, because your next step is incredibly crucial. The specific way you handle tonight's revelation will permanently determine the absolute pace of the next 6 months of your life. If you choose to respond with deep maturity, quiet courage, and faithful obedience, massive new doors will swing open for you far faster than you could ever expect. But if you choose to respond with angry denial, stubborn pride, or a desperate need to argue, the painful cycle will simply reset and repeat itself. God is not threatening you with this truth. He is desperately trying to prepare you. You have deeply underestimated your own massive calling. You have constantly minimized your own incredible potential just to make others feel secure. You have falsely treated your sharp, God-given intuition as if it were just silly insecurity, when in reality, it was pure divine discernment keeping you safe. Heaven is aggressively correcting that terrible mislabeling tonight. You are far more spiritually aware and deeply gifted than you give yourself credit for. The heavy, bone-deep exhaustion you have felt recently is absolutely not random, physical fatigue. It has been the crushing spiritual weight of living in total misalignment. When the solid truth officially lands tonight, you are going to feel an immediate, breathtaking lightness in your chest. That beautiful lightness is exactly how you will confidently know it is directly from God. Divine correction always carries a deep, settling peace, even when the initial truth stings your heart. There is also something very deep you must permanently release internally. It is not just about walking away from a specific person or a toxic situation. You must walk away from a past version of yourself. You have to release the old version of you that quietly tolerated far less than you deserved. You must release the insecure version of you that constantly doubted your own intuition. You must let go of the timid version of you that always waited for someone else's permission to be great. Archangel Michael is actively strengthening the bold, fearless version of you right now. He is awakening the version of you that completely trusts God's voice without question. The version that confidently walks away when it becomes necessary, without looking back. The version that absolutely does not chase after the very things God is actively trying to remove. Do not ever fear the sudden shock of this truth. The only thing you should truly fear is staying spiritually asleep while your life passes you by. If nothing shocking happened tonight, you would simply continue negotiating with the very darkness that constantly drains your light. You would continue postponing your beautiful growth for another year. You would continue aggressively silencing that quiet inner voice that knows exactly what you need to do. So, heaven is aggressively intervening right now, not to harm your gentle heart, but to awaken you fully and completely. As the hours rapidly move forward toward midnight, I need you to stay highly alert in your spirit. Pray softly, reflect deeply on these words, and actively avoid all unnecessary, noisy distractions. This is absolutely not a night for mindless scrolling on your phone or engaging in exhausting emotional arguments with people who simply refuse to understand you. This is a sacred, quiet night for absolute spiritual alignment. When the defining moment comes, and I promise you, it will come, take a very deep breath and remember every single word of this message. Remember that you were clearly warned in perfect love. Remember that this sudden exposure is pure evidence of divine protection. And once the raw truth stands directly in front of you, looking you in the eyes, do not you dare shrink back into your shell. Step boldly into the light. Because what follows this temporary shocking disruption is not the destruction of your life. It is the massive, beautiful acceleration of your greatest dreams. What you are experiencing right now is not a random season of intense pressure. It is a highly calculated, divine restructuring of your entire foundation. God is recalibrating your entire direction. He is not just removing a few bad pieces from your life. He is completely aligning you with the magnificent blueprint that was written for you long before you ever learned how to settle for less. If you feel the chains breaking as your spirit listens, type Amen to seal this revelation. Let your public comment be your private victory over the enemy's delay. Before this sacred window closes, you must solidify your covenant with the divine. This is your moment to prove to heaven that you are ready to hold the weight of the coming blessing. Sowing a seed of faith, securing the guided ebook, or becoming a steadfast member of our Ko-fi community is a profound act of spiritual obedience. Your financial gift acts as a living promise that shatters the cycle of delay. Go to the link in the description or the pinned comment to make your donation or buy a coffee and partner with this divine mission to save souls as you step into your unbroken victory. Steady believer, you have now reached the absolute threshold of fulfillment. Take a moment to truly absorb the magnitude of where you are standing right now. What began as a stern, urgent warning has beautifully matured into divine preparation. What started as an intense, uncomfortable urgency has perfectly transformed into your divine positioning. And now, what stands directly in front of you is a magnificent, unbreakable promise. There is a massive blessing rapidly approaching your life that you once truly thought was delayed indefinitely. You may have even quietly assumed in your moments of deepest sadness and isolation that you had completely missed your chance. You thought the door was permanently locked. But what you could not see with your physical eyes was that heaven was simply waiting for your absolute alignment before it released the ultimate reward. God is the master builder of your life, and He will never pour fresh new wine into a heavily cracked vessel. He first takes the necessary time to lovingly reinforce your structure. The painful exposure that just happened in your life was not only about removing something wrong. It was entirely about strengthening your gentle heart to finally handle something deeply right. The next incredible opportunity coming toward you requires deep emotional stability. It requires razor-sharp discernment. It requires unwavering courage. If this massive blessing had arrived 6 months earlier, while you were still confused, exhausted, and drained by toxic attachments, you might have accidentally mishandled it. Worse, you might have doubted yourself completely out of it. But right now, because of what you have just endured and released, you are finally ready. Hit the like button right now as a pure act of faith, calling forth the divine breakthrough that heaven has prepared for you. Archangel Michael's fierce protection remains highly active around you right now, because true elevation always attracts attention. Whenever a chosen believer finally steps into their greater favor, there are always unseen forces that attempt to distract, discourage, or pull them back down to their old level. But you are absolutely not stepping forward blindly into the dark. You are stepping forward fully covered, entirely protected, and deeply loved. There is a very specific, beautiful door opening in your life right now. This door may relate to your career, your deepest life purpose, a powerful ministry, or a brand new relationship that is completely aligned with your spiritual growth. You will recognize this specific door not by wild, chaotic excitement alone, but by a profound, unshakable peace. Peace will be your ultimate confirmation. This new door will not require you to shrink yourself to fit inside. It will not require you to painfully compromise your high standards. It will not demand that you violently silence your own intuition just to keep someone else happy. Instead, it will deeply honor the firm boundaries you have just learned to set. That is exactly how you will confidently know it is directly from God. You may feel brief moments of disbelief as things begin to effortlessly align in your favor. You may wonder why it suddenly feels so much smoother than before. You may question whether this new season of joy will actually last, but I need you to promise me this. Do not sabotage what heaven is beautifully building through a false fear of loss. You have permanently graduated from that painful cycle. The intense urgency you felt before 11:59 p.m. was entirely about preventing you from carrying your heavy old baggage into a brand new blessing. Imagine trying to step into a massive expansion while you are still emotionally entangled in deep confusion. It would have created severe instability. God actively prevented that from happening. Now there is massive space in your life. There is space for true growth. There is space for crystal clear clarity. There is space for divine acceleration. Your quiet obedience tonight has created massive momentum in the unseen realm. There are conversations happening in rooms you cannot even see right now that heavily favor your name. There are rare opportunities perfectly aligning simply because your spiritual frequency has finally shifted. Archangel Michael's role in your life right now is also about establishing a deep, unshakable confidence within you. This is a confidence rooted entirely in your divine identity, not in fragile human ego. You are finally beginning to understand exactly who you are. You are not the highly insecure version of yourself that was shaped by past disappointments and betrayals. You are the highly refined, deeply powerful version shaped by divine revelation. You will notice that your physical posture changes in the coming days. You will stand taller. You no longer seek constant, exhausting reassurance from others. You no longer beg for basic clarity from people who are completely incapable of giving it to you. You consult God first, and you trust His answer. That shift is incredibly powerful. There is also a profound healing taking place deep inside your soul right now. The heavy confusion you once carried created subtle, painful wounds in your spirit. The constant doubt severely wounded your ability to trust yourself. The endless delay heavily wounded your daily momentum. Your high tolerance for disrespect deeply wounded your inner peace. But beautiful healing is occurring right this very second because absolute truth has finally entered your heart. Truth powerfully heals whatever the lies attempted to destroy. The beautiful blessing ahead will feel exactly like the warm confirmation you needed to know you chose correctly. It may not erase every single challenge in the world, but it will absolutely affirm that your alignment was entirely worth the fight. Victorious soul, this is your ultimate sealing moment. What began as a sudden divine interruption has now beautifully become a permanent divine establishment. The terrifying shaking has finally stopped. The thick, blinding fog has entirely lifted. Your painful hesitation has been completely replaced with absolute certainty. And right now, heaven is placing its final golden stamp of approval on this massive shift in your life. When God said, "I am tired of trying to talk to you," please understand that it was absolutely not a harsh rejection. It was the purest form of spiritual refinement. It was the exact beautiful moment a deeply loving father decided that you were finally strong enough, mature enough, and brave enough to handle his direct truth. And you proved him absolutely right. You did not run away. You listened. You used your discernment. You responded with grace and power. And because you boldly responded, what was deeply unstable in your life has been permanently uprooted, and what is truly secure is now being firmly planted into the soil of your destiny. The shock that happened before 11:59 p.m. was never meant to scare your gentle heart. It was meant to wake you up permanently. You will never, ever return to that low level of confusion again. You will never again tolerate that severe degree of misalignment. You have officially crossed a massive spiritual threshold, and the bridge behind you has been burned. Archangel Michael's powerful covering over your life right now is not a temporary shield. It marks the glorious beginning of a season of fortified, permanent protection. The toxic energies that actively try to entangle you will absolutely not have the same access to your spirit anymore. The loud voices that constantly try to distract you will no longer hold the exact same heavy influence over your mind. You are fiercely guarded simply because you are rapidly advancing. This is your glorious season of establishment. Your personal boundaries are stronger than steel. Your spiritual discernment is sharper than a two-edged sword. Your inner confidence is steadier than a mountain, and your quiet obedience has fully unlocked the gates of acceleration. There is massive, undeniable favor moving toward you right now. It will not feel rushed. It will not feel aggressively forced. It will not feel heavily manipulated. It will feel incredibly clean. It will feel deeply peaceful. It will feel perfectly aligned with your soul. That is exactly how God miraculously restores the very things that the enemy's delay attempted to steal from you. You must hear this and believe it. You were never actually behind in life. You were simply being prepared in the shadows. The intense urgency of that specific night ensured that you would absolutely not carry your old confusion into your beautiful next chapter. Now your next chapter begins with a completely blank, crystal clear page. I want you to wake up tomorrow and fully expect wide open doors. Expect breathtaking, divine connections that feel like family. Expect your brilliant creative ideas to rapidly flourish. Expect total restoration in the exact areas of your life where you once felt hopelessly stuck. But above all else, I need you to expect deep, unshakable peace. Because that peace is the undeniable evidence that you chose correctly. You will look back one day, years from now, and clearly realize that this very night was the exact turning point that permanently redirected your entire destiny. The night that seemed so intense became the night that completely secured your future. The message that felt so urgent became the solid rock foundation of your new strength. Archangel Michael stands beside you right now as a powerful reminder that heaven always fiercely defends those who choose to walk in absolute obedience. And you, my beautiful friend, have walked in obedience. Do not you dare shrink back now. Do not question your own power now. Stand incredibly firm in the truth you have discerned. Walk boldly and brightly into the wide open spaces that are forming for you. The painful cycle has permanently closed. The exhausting delay has officially ended. The divine alignment is completely sealed. Blessing code 9001 is being released over your life at this exact moment, sealing the promise and activating the favor you are stepping into. Now hear this final, urgent call very carefully. What just happened in your life through this specific message is not an isolated event. There are thousands and thousands of broken, exhausted souls out there who are still actively ignoring the gentle whispers of God. They are currently standing on the terrifying edge of their own midnight moment, desperately needing the exact clarity you just received. When you choose to partner with this vital mission, whether through super thanks, becoming a channel member, or sending a seed through the PayPal link found in the description, you are absolutely not just giving your resources to a channel. You are actively igniting a massive global harvest of awakened souls. The Lord clearly says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not a casual suggestion. It is a living, breathing promise spoken directly over your life today. As you boldly sow your seed into spreading His urgent voice to the corners of the earth, you step into a deep covenant alignment with heaven's greatest work. Do not hesitate when your spirit feels the nudge to act. Step forward in pure faith. Release your seed today and strengthen this prophetic assignment right now. And as you do, I declare that massive doors will open before you that no man, no enemy, and no delay can ever shut. Subscribing is your final act of obedience today, securing your alignment with the new season God has just established. Sharing this prophecy will multiply your favor and extend this massive blessing to those who need it most. Type Amen one final time to lock in this prophecy. Let the comments overflow with the agreement of awakened souls standing in their new season. This is your established season of victory. Hold your head high, breathe in the fresh air of freedom, and walk in it.